Welcome to ABC Interactive English. Hello, everyone. My name is Sydney.
And my name is Karen. Today we are looking at part C of 3 meals a day. And in today's dialogue, we're talking about having dinner. Okay, well, I think they're going to be having dinner at home with their family in our dialogue today. So let me ask you, Sydney, when you were little or growing up in your home, did you have dinner at home all the time with your family?
I did, yeah. I feel like having a family meal with my 2 parents and I, especially after school, and after my parents were finished with work, was such a typical thing that we would do, you know, Monday through Friday. Even on Sundays, sometimes we would go to my grandmother's house and she would cook chicken and cabbage and mac and cheese and all this really, really great stuff. So having a meal as a family, especially dinner as a family, was such a big part of my childhood. Yeah,
I have to say I'm the same way. You know, growing up in my home, like having family dinner together, it was such a big thing. And then I really enjoyed it too. I mean, this is like the only time and, you know, out of the whole day that you really get to see your family. You get to sit down and then you talk about your days and then what happened at school. And then, you know, really have a good conversation with well, I have a sister too, with my sister and also my parents as well. And on the weekends, sometimes we would dine out, go to like different restaurants and stuff, but still having family together. So from Monday to Friday, either my mom or dad would cook. And I really enjoyed that time, you know?
Yeah, it's really special because like you said, if you're going to school and then your parents are working, Monday through Friday, you don't really have a ton of time to spend together.
Exactly.
In the morning, you're getting ready for school, your parents are getting ready for work. By lunchtime, you're eating at school, your parents are still at work. And then, you know, at nighttime, dinner time, it's really kind of sacred family time. And what better way to kind of spend time with your family and talk and catch up than over a nice meal.
Exactly. You know, and back then, there were no smartphones. So, you know, nobody is staring at their phones and then checking out videos. Everyone basically just sitting down and then paying full attention to each other. And I think that was a wonderful thing.
Exactly. There was no Instagram, no TikTok, maybe a little bit of Facebook, but not that much. You know, you were really forced to kind of engage with your immediate family. So, yeah. All right, so we are going to dive right into the dialogue between our 2 characters right after we come back from our break.
Mary and Barry are having dinner with their family.
Can you pass the bread, please?
Here you go. Now, can you pass me the salt?
I can, but don't use too much. It isn't good for you.
I know that. I am only going to use a little on the fish.
All right, welcome back, everyone. So we are going to get started with our dialogue, which is part C of 3 meals a day. And again, today we are going to be talking about dinner.
So in our dialogue today, same thing, we have 2 different characters. We have Mary and Barry. So Mary and Barry are having dinner with their family. So we know that Mary and Barry are also siblings. Okay, so they're brothers and sisters. And they're all having their dinner together with their family. And we are going to find out what happens in our dialogue today. So I guess sister is Sydney, right? Mary. And then I'll be reading for Barry, the brother.
Yeah, what lovely names, Mary and Barry. I love the rhyming. Okay. All right, so Mary starts off by saying, "Can you pass the bread, please?" Okay, all right. Now, our vocabulary word here is the word pass. Now, pass can actually mean a couple different things. So if you're thinking of the word pass in the context of school, right, you can say, oh, great, I really want to pass my test, meaning maybe you got a high enough score on your test where you don't need to retake it. Pass can also mean maybe, you know, you are kind of walking by someone on the street, like you're physically passing them and walking ahead of them. But in this context, to pass bread just means to give someone something. Oh, can you pass me the bread? Can you pass me the salt? Can you pass me the ketchup? Can you give those things to me so I can eat them or use them as part of my meal?
Exactly. And it's a really common question to ask when you're sitting at the table and then maybe it's too far for you to reach, right? And then sometimes you can just ask instead of you getting up and walking over to the other side to get it. And now Barry says, Here you go. Now, can you pass me the salt? So now Barry wants the salt. So he also asks Mary to pass him the salt. So what is salt? So that's a noun. Basically, salt is a tiny white crystal that gives food a savory taste. So if you think something is not too salty or not salty enough, you can add some more salt to it to make it taste salty enough.
Yeah.
Okay, an example sentence would be, please pass the salt to put on my popcorn. Ooh, you can put some salt on your popcorn too.
Yeah.
But some people like their popcorn sweet as well.
They do, yeah. Or sometimes, like for me, sometimes if I'm ever ordering from a fast food restaurant, sometimes the fries aren't salty enough. And I get home and I want to put some salt on my fries. You know, not always the healthiest thing, but like you said, not very healthy, but it does add some really nice flavor. Some things you have to have salt. Popcorn, fries, you know, or something isn't really to your liking in terms of the taste, you can always add salt to kind of bring the flavor out a little bit more.
Just not too much.
Not too much,
That's right.
not too much, yeah.
Okay, let's go over to Tina first and we will be right back.
Hello, I'm Tina. Mary 和 Barry 正在与家人共进晚餐。Mary 问 Barry 可以把面包递给他吗？ Barry 把面包递过去，接着请 Mary 把盐递给他。我们来看看单字 pass 动词传递 Please pass the milk to me. I want to add it to my tea. 请把牛奶递给我，我想加在茶里面。Salt 名词盐 Don't put too much salt in the soup. It is not healthy. 汤里不要加太多盐，这样不健康。我们来看文法 Here you go 给你，这是一个口语用法，用于把东西交给对方的情境。举例来说 Can I use your eraser for a minute? 我可以借用一下你的橡皮擦吗？ Here you go. Do not lose it. 给你，不要弄丢哦。接着我们回到对话当中。
All right, so Mary, in response to Barry, says, I can, meaning I can pass you the salt. I can, but don't use too much. It isn't good for you. Kind of like what we were saying, right? If you want to put some salt on your food, on your French fries, on your popcorn, just to kind of bring out the flavor a bit more, that's okay, but not to use too much. Okay, so when we say that A is good for B, typically we mean, okay, something is healthy for you, it'll make you strong, it'll prevent you from getting sick. And then when we say the opposite, A isn't good for B, okay, hey, this thing isn't good for you. If you use too much, it's not good for you. It might make you unhealthy. It might make you gain, a little bit of fat. It might make you sick. So that's typically what we mean. If A is good for B, good for you, it's healthy. If something isn't good for you, it means that it's typically not very healthy for you and your body.
Exactly. Like too much salt isn't good for your body, right?
Yeah.
So now Barry says, I know that. I am only going to use a little on the fish. Okay, so I guess Barry is aware of that. Too much salt isn't good for his body. So he's trying to explain that, I am only going to use a little on the fish. Yes, I like to put a little bit of salt on my fish as well.
Yeah, me too. Because, I've heard that salt is a really good ingredient to use when cooking because salt actually kind of helps activate some of the other flavors and seasoning of the food. So if you don't use any salt, then maybe some of the flavor of your food might be lacking. So it's definitely okay to use a little bit, but just not too much because too much salt isn't good for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go to Tina first and we will be right back.
Mary 叫 Barry 不要用太多盐，对身体不好。Barry 说他知道，他只会撒一点点在鱼上面。我们来看看文法。A is good for B. A 对 B 有益。Good 在这里指的是有好处的，搭配介系词 for。比如说 Drinking a glass of warm water is good for you in the morning. 早上喝一杯温开水对你是很有帮助的。接着我们回到对话当中。
Thank you, Tina. And now we are back. Okay, so far from our dialogue between Mary and Barry, we know that they're siblings having dinner at home. And then Mary reminds Barry, don't eat too much salt because, it's not good for your body. And Barry says, I'm aware of that. I understand. Don't worry. I just want to put a little bit on my fish. So I guess they both care about eating healthy.
That's good. That's good. They both care about eating healthy, which is great. I think you and I both know of someone who isn't as health conscious, but that's okay. Mary and Barry are very health conscious siblings, which we love. All right, so we are going to follow the other part of Mary and Barry's family dinner. So let's go to the second part of the dialogue and we'll be right back.
All right.
Wait, did you taste the fish? It doesn't need any salt.
No, but I will taste it now. Wow, the fish is full of flavor.
It should be. Dad cooked the fish.
Thanks, Dad. The fish is very delicious.
Welcome back, everyone. So we know that we're looking at this dialogue between Mary and Barry, who are siblings, brother and sisters, and they are having dinner with their family at home. And we know that they both understand that, having too much salt is not good for your body. And then Barry just said that, I just want a little bit of salt on my fish, right? All right. Okay, well, let's continue with our dialogue and see what happens.
All right, let's see. So Mary says, wait. Did you taste the fish? It doesn't need any salt. Okay, and this is a very valid point. Sometimes, I know a lot of people who actually, before they even taste their food, they're so quick to grab salt and pepper and all these different seasonings. And I'm kind of like, well, hey, did you even taste the food? Did you try it? Did you sample it, right? Which is a great question, because if you actually taste the food, then you might find out, oh, it tastes good enough. Maybe it doesn't actually need any extra salt. So our vocabulary word here is taste. So to taste just means to sample food or to sample a drink, just meaning to try it, to eat a little bit first, to then decide how you feel, about its flavor, right? And then if a food has taste, right? If a food has a particular taste or if a drink has a particular taste, that's talking about the flavor, right? Which is true. You should kind of taste or sample your food before you add any extra salt or condiments to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So because Mary says that, the fish is already salty enough. So if you add even just a little more salt, that's going to make it even more salty and probably too salty, right? So now Barry says, no, but I will taste it now. Wow, the fish is full of flavor. Okay, so good thing that Mary reminded him. So if Mary didn't remind him, he would have put a lot of salt on the fish. No, actually a little bit of salt. But he realized that the fish does not need any salt at all. The fish is full of flavor. It's already salty enough, right?
Yeah, so thank goodness he didn't add any extra salt.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, so now we are going to go to Tina and we'll be right back.
Mary 请 Barry 等等，问 Barry 尝过鱼了吗？他说鱼不需要加任何盐哦。Barry 说还没有，但他现在就来尝尝看。吃过之后，他发现鱼的调味很足味。我们来看看单字 taste 动词品尝。Molly tasted the sauce to check if it needed more salt. Molly 尝一口酱汁，确认需不需要再加点盐。Sauce 指的就是酱汁、调味酱。文法的部分刚刚提到了 A is full of B，A 充满 B。Full 是形容词，充满的、装满的。比如说 The box is full of old photos from our childhood。这个盒子里装满了我们小时候的老照片。接着我们回到对话当中。
All right, so Mary says it should be, meaning, okay, yeah, you said that the fish is full of flavor. Mary says, yeah, it should be, meaning it should be full of flavor. Dad cooked the fish. Oh, okay, so maybe their dad is really good in the kitchen. Maybe he's really good at cooking and maybe fish is kind of his specialty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think, maybe the fish is full of flavor is because Dad already seasoned the fish before he cooked it. Because if just cooked the fish alone without any seasoning, the fish wouldn't be full of flavor. So sometimes you season the fish or season the meat before you cook it. And then that's why afterwards you don't need any more salt, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, and now Barry says, thanks, Dad. The fish is very delicious. And that is a very nice thing to say, whoever cooks for you, whatever kind of dish they made, if you tell them, whatever you made is very delicious, and then you're showing that you are grateful, you really appreciate it, whoever cooked for you, they will be super, super happy, right?
Yeah.
And we're looking at this word here, delicious, and that is an adjective. Delicious means having a very pleasing taste or smell or being super yummy and enjoyable to eat. It is used to describe food that tastes really good. An example sentence would be, that chocolate cake was absolutely delicious. So an easier way to say it, you can also say, oh, it's really yummy as well. Yummy, but if you want to use a fancier, bigger word, you can say delicious.
Yeah. All right, so now it's time for us to go to Tina and come back after that.
Barry 发现鱼的调味很足后 ，Mary 接着说这是肯定的，因为是爸爸的料理啊。Barry 感谢爸爸，说鱼非常美味。我们来看看单字 ，delicious， delicious 形容词，美味的。The apple pie my grandma baked smells delicious。我奶奶烤的苹果派闻起来好香，好好吃。接着我们回到对话当中。
Thank you, Tina. And now we are back. Okay, so from our dialogue today, we know that Mary and Barry are brothers and sisters having dinner with their family. And I know that they kind of really do care about each other and they care about eating healthy. So they know that eating too much salt is not a good idea. And we also know that, they appreciate Dad's cooking. So Dad is probably a fantastic cook.
Yeah, it sounds like he really seasoned the fish very well. It was very flavorful and he cooked it so well that it didn't actually need any extra seasoning and it didn't need any extra salt.
That's
which
right.
is great. Yeah. All right. So we are going to review the dialogue again and we'll see you next time.
See you guys next
All right,
time. Bye-bye.
Mary and Barry are having dinner with their family.
Can you pass the bread, please?
Here you go. Now, can you pass me the salt?
I can, but don't use too much. It isn't good for you.
I know that. I am only going to use a little on the fish.
Wait, did you taste the fish? It doesn't need any salt.
No, but I will taste it now. Wow, the fish is full of flavor.
It should be. Dad cooked the fish.
Thanks, Dad. The fish is very delicious.
我们来复习一下这一课的重点单字跟文法。单字的部分 ，pass 动词传递 ，salt 名词盐 ，taste 动词品尝 ，delicious 形容词美味的。接着我们来看文法的部分 ，Here you go 给你 ，Oh no, I don't have a pencil。哦不，我没有铅笔。Here you go, you can use one of mine。给你，你可以用我的其中一支。A is good for B， A 对 B 有益。A little sun is good for you， 晒一点太阳对你是有益的。A is full of B， A 充满 B。Melody is full of hope for the future. Melody 对未来满怀希望。以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法，我们下一课再见，拜拜。
Winnie, what? Aren't you going to a wedding?
Yeah?
Don't you know you're not supposed to wear white to a Western wedding?
Why?
Because the bride wears white.
I need to go change.
Today we are going to go more in depth of different patterns you might find on clothing, starting with stripes. Striped clothing are just long lines that either go across or vertical, and there are different colors or different textures from the shirt's background itself. So you can clearly tell different types of long lines. Now, a fun, interesting tip is that if you want to look more slim, you should avoid wearing horizontal lines and wear vertical lines.
Ah, okay. Well, speaking of lines, we also have more lines. This print is called a check print or a checkered print. And as you can see, it's just like the board game of checkers. On the board game, you will see alternating colors that make up little squares, and it's in rows. And as you can see over here, they also have squares, and sometimes you can have 2 or more colors, but the most important part is the squares are even and they kind of resemble a checkered or checkers board. Then we have something that is very similar. You don't want to confuse the two. This one, it's called a plaid design, is more just talking about a lot of lines that might even be different colors. Some people think that this is flannel, but actually when people refer to flannel, you're talking about a thicker material. They do oftentimes have this type of plaid design. That is why people get the two mixed up. But I hope today you can clarify what the different patterns are.
Winnie, isn't it interesting that there are actually so many different ways to describe what your shirt or your, whatever you're wearing, what they look like, all these different patterns and textures.
Yeah, that's true. And that's what makes fashion so much fun. You can always experiment with different patterns because it might even change the entire look. But that is all we have for today. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and send us a DM or an email if there's something you want to say in English and you just don't know how. Kiwi later!